Hey everybody, and welcome to Pathfinder Adventures. This is a deck building game. If you stop me if you've heard these before, it seems like everybody's doing a deck building game now. Hearthstone, fucking Clash Royale, all that stuff. So now you understand that. Now, what is Pathfinder? Pathfinder is a D&D rule set. It's a D&D rule set. D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, is a role-playing game. It's not like a game, like a video game. It's an actual board game kind of thing, where you and your friends are traversing through a world made up by one guy, the DM, Dungeon Master, and you play as a character. There's several characters you can be. There's a lot of characters you can be. You could definitely look up Pathfinder and all that stuff. There's all sorts of different classes, races, all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff in Pathfinder, but D&D is kind of like a lot of games are based around that. A lot of 90s and early 2000s BioWare games are kind of D&D. Baldur's Gate, Divinity: Original Sin, Tyranny, Pillars of Eternity. Those are some of the newer ones that have come out and feature a dice roll and worrying about your skill checks and all that stuff. Kind of Fallout in a way is a kind of like a dice roll because you're doing skill checks a lot. Same with Skyrim, though those are not really focused combat because these are kind of turn-based combat. So we'll get into that. So when you first boot up here, you got there's a tutorial. Quests would be grayed out, and you have a story. Story mode is pretty much a set area that you go through. You fight minions and you fight bosses and you fight henchmen. You get loot, you get items, spells, weapons, armor, all that stuff. So you press that. This is the tutorial. Let's get rid of that. When you first start that, you only start with 2 characters. Let's start a new party. You only have 2 characters off to start with, so I feel like it's kind of bad. I'll get into that later in the microtransactions section, but it's pretty good. You first start off with 2 characters, a female rogue, an elf rogue actually, and then a human cleric. Each character has their own skill set, so my elf rogue has a lot of dexterity and strength. And so she's going to be focused more on dexterity checks. So we can look at her card list. I think? No, we can't yet. Crap. And then with that, so, if you're doing a combat check, you would, depending on what weapon, you roll a d12 with, certain like caveats. If you're rolling a strength check, because you encounter a barrier, like a slide of rock wall or something, that if you roll a high enough strength check, you'll actually get through it. And then we have powers here, so to determine, on average, your characters will hold 5 cards, and you got 5 cards. You can also boost it up to 6, and then there's armor proficiency and weapon proficiency. Each one, so my cleric, who has heavy proficiency, allows to, heavy armor proficiency reduces the cost of using heavy armor to cancel combat damage and allows the special card powers on some armor cards. So it's hey, you can wear heavy armor, while my elf rogue, she cannot wear heavy armor. And then weapon proficiency. Some weapons require proficiency. If you don't, you get a penalty on that. And then, hey, she's rogue, she could just hide encounters, or she can do a sneak attack. We'll get into how this works. So you can add, if you recharge a weapon, you can add another dice roll 6. That's D6 again. D stands for dice, so there's even up to you'll encounter even a 21-sided die, or even a 3 or 4-sided die. Yeah, 4. I think 4 is the lowest. If anything lower, it'll just give you a 4. And so it gives me bonus damage, and I can even upload these up. And then on top of that, there's more advanced classes that I will unlock as I progress. So now I can hold up to 7 cards, and now I can So on top of evading it, I can evade it and may put the card on the top of the location desk. So instead of instead of evading it and shuffling it back into the deck, or now this is 1d6 plus 3, all that cool stuff. Sabotage Bear, and then some other stuff, caveats. Cleric, gonna heal and does bonus damage. Sorceress does fire damage. Human Fighter is kind of like the generic guy. He actually has an ability. You can discard weapons to get bonus damage, but then, with Weapon Mastery, you recharge them. We'll get into that. So there's all sorts of different abilities. Each one has their own. So even this Dwarf Ranger, he can just, shoot across different locations. All that stuff. The Druid, which is very interesting, she uses animals as her stuff. So she uses, Animal Trick. Increases adds another 1d4, and then you can increase that to 1d4 plus 2 and all that stuff. You can use that on any check. The Monk doesn't even have any weapons. He actually uses all his dexterity for that stuff. And then, hey, for your combat check, you may use your dexterity skill. And then our Barbarian, all sorts of different stuff. Like she can, discard a item and get 1d6. So these are all the current characters. I know it's getting a little bit long, but there's, once you start this, let's go with the Monk. I haven't used the Monk. Come on. I haven't unlocked the Bard, which is very interesting in itself, or the Sorcerer. But the Sorcerer and the Wizard are very similar in a way. They're both kind of like intellect. Oh, wait, no, she doesn't have much intellect. Interesting. We use that, and we'll go with the Fighter, and my Druid's my favorite. And then the Cleric's pretty cool. She can actually heal, and then we'll go with the Paladin. And then and again, how big your party is, changes the whole dynamic of the game. So technically, having more people doesn't make it easier. You know what I mean? So we come here. So this is like kind of the path right now that you have, as you kind of go past here. You there's tons of scenarios. Wait, I think. Oh yeah. So once you get past the first 3, it's I think this is the yeah. So this is the first 3 scenarios. You hit start. And then it's going to give you a little, intro, and I followed the breadcrumbs of my sister's disappearance to the Sandpoint, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Little narrative. Blah, blah, blah. Let's skip. And so this is now we're into the actual game. So every time you start either story or quest, you get this, during the scenario, if a monster power causes you to recharge 1 or more cards, do so, then draw the same amount of cards you drawed. So you could sometimes be positive, most of the time it's going to be negative, and then it's going to show us the villain we have to destroy, and then his henchmen that we have to weed out. So they're scattered around these all these different locations. Each location, I don't know if you can see that. Each location has a. When you're at the location, when closing, and when it's closed. So some of them, there's all sorts of different. So when you're at the location, it's the start of the location. When you're closing it, you close it when you encounter the villain, or you killed the henchman, or run out of cards, whichever one comes first. So let's see here. So this one you may okay. So this is to close it. You need a dexterity text. We'll put our Monk there. Summon and defeat. We'll probably put our Fighter there. To see it on an intellect chart, we'll put our Wizard there. Succeed at a charisma or diplomacy check. I think my Paladin, you could always go back to charisma. She's at a D10, which is good. Yeah, it's only needs 6. It's like the wisdom. We'll send my Druid there, and let's see here. And we'll send the Cleric there. And so I can put them in any order. You can actually, I can put them together. The Fighter does work it does give bonus stats to people that are in the same thing. So here we got a little intro here. Now the story is always the same. It's not dynamic. Here we are. So the first thing you do is you click your card. Okay, I got a blessing. So what we see here in the top left is your, the locations, power, location thing. And in the very top left, we got see how many villains, monsters, all that stuff. I forget the other one. Weapons, spells, armors, items, allies, blessings, and question mark, which probably means there's a villain there. And so because, and then the bottom left is our discard pile. Main deck. Bottom right is our abilities, and then how big our hand is, and then how many cards are left in the in our hand. All our locate where everybody is, and then the blessing is how many turns you have. So if you get this blessing, you automatically get it. I think I forget. So I can even go here. So let's go back here. So let's see here. So you can also discard blessings to explore the location again. So I have this is called a barrier, and so I could either discard 2 cards to evade the encounter. Again, let's look at this. The difficulty to defeat is increased by the scenario's adventure deck. Okay, if you fail the check to defeat by 4 or more, you are dealt 1 combat damage. So if I get a roll of 4 or less, I take 1 damage. If undefeated, leave the barrier face up in the location deck. While it's there, characters at this location may not move, and they counter it as the first exploration of each turn. So I have good aerobatic, but we could discard a blessing, which, each blessing is different. Actually, I only got the blessing of the gods, which is the basic one. So we're gonna let's see here. Let's go back here. Let's go to this, and now I have 2 dice of D10s, and then a +2. So we should get this. Here we go. Easily peasy. And then and then that's it. I can banish another blessing, and here we go. These are the allies. These do little modifiers. You encounter these throughout the game. So I can recharge this to add a 1d4 to the Archon or Divine check, or I can recharge the card to add a 1d6 to your check, recharging a card that has a magical trait. Very complex stuff, but once you get into it, you get pretty easy. So, so they acquire it. I need to get a 6, and then we'll roll that. I get a 4. Shucks. Okay. And let's use another blessing. Lord. So now we have a mercenary. So my combat is 1d6. So I'm going to use my dexterity. So now it's 1d10. But it's not enough because I actually need to roll 4. Full 10. So let's see if we can get some help here. We're going to use another blessing here for another d10. So there's a 50-50 chance I'll get this. And I lose. So once you get hit, you discard the remainder of the damage. So I got hit for 5. I have to discard 5 cards, but I had a potion. So I just move on. The villain or the henchman, whatever, the mercenary goes back into the location deck, shuffled, and then I move on. I'm not a fan of the monk. So right here, we have, so when they're highlighted green like this, that means they can be used. So I can, hey, during your turn, discard this card to examine the top deck at your location. If it's a card blessing or a magical trait, you may immediately encounter it. Otherwise, return it to the top of the deck. And so let's just use that. Do that. Okay, it's a spell, so I can encounter that now. And then spells have the ability to recharge. And so because I'm a sorcerer, yeah, I'm a sorcerer, yeah, wizard. I have high intellect, so I have a throw a d12, and so but my abilities also be allowing me to, whenever I recharge a spell, I can try to pull a spell from my deck. So we got that. I draw that, and I just need 2. So there's like a 1 in 6 chance I'll miss this. There we go. I got 11. And got that. That goes back into my deck. Then, I need a 1d8 to add in the aid, so I could also recharge this sage, which is another ally. Again, adding a 1d6 to the non-combat wisdom arcane, and so I should get this. It's pretty low. Oh, I got it. There we go. So I got all that stuff back. When you use a spell, you can just put it back into the deck. Let's see here. We got Cure here. You know what? Let's just use Aid here. So discard. Boom. So Cure is just pretty much a healing spell. Of course, let's explore. So now we have a barrier. So I have to get a D4. Or I need to roll a D7. So here we go. I need a perception. I can change it to a perception check. So some cards say, hey, you can roll a D7 for perception or wisdom, or a D8 for dexterity or acrobats. So let's see. So I can actually even roll a D4 and a, let's see here. So wisdom is low. Let's return that. Let's see. So now it's a 7, and that's a D4. There we go. And I can still keep on exploring. And agony. Aggery. Damn. Okay. But that's pretty much the sum of it. You're just gonna keep on going. You could do this with just one character. You could do it with 6 characters. It doesn't matter. It does. I've noticed that it is actually easier with one character, especially the elf rogue, because she does bonus damage when she's by herself. So you can click this. You can see the, yeah. Let's get out of here. Main menu. So that's kind of the combat. The quests here are kind of once you finish the first few scenarios in the story, you have access to the quest, which is an endless thing, and this is where you can actually level up your character. So now you could customize your characters and all that stuff. So now my rogue is pretty powerful. She has 1d6, 1d2 for sneak, and then discard for additional 1.6. My cleric also has the ability to, heal, has a 1d plus 2 to heal people. So I could heal up to, 4 damage. That's healing is returning your cards from your discard pile. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So with that, let's get back to the microtransactions, because this is a free game. Microtransactions are actually pretty cool. Each day you have challenges. They reset every 24 hours, so you can depending on how hard they are, you can get 100 gold or something different. Completing a quest. So let's see here if I can. Completing the quest, depending on your skill and all that stuff. So the scenario, the more party you have, the bigger the gold reward. So party size gold bonus 20, difficulty reward 30. But if I complete it, scenario reward gives me another 50. And then there's also different difficulties that have different locations, and then I have different modifiers. Let's see, so I even get even more gold and all that stuff, which is really cool. I still haven't beat. I can barely beat normal because I just constantly run out of time. Let's see here, and then so now the microtransactions are actually pretty good. Most of it revolves around money or the gold, which you can get a steady amount. I get about like 500 gold every 2 days, and treasure chests are just a random thing. You get cards and they throw into the main hole. They don't go into your card. They go into a vault, which is how many all the cards you can actually see. So we got different characters we can get. I do recommend the character add-on, because the barbarian, the druid, and the paladin are actually really good. For starter characters, the barbarian just decimates enemies. And then we have different adventures. All these are out of gold. Some of them will be on, on sale. I think this was like 300 gold or something. And so you can preview what cards you will see. get a cat and all that stuff, and you can see like it will throw all those cards into your vault, so you will see these over time, and then some of these, you know. Cool. The art is pretty cool. The gameplay is pretty cool. Whoa, a little risky. Gold's not that expensive. It's $900. It's 900 gold for 1,000, which is like, you know, it's $10 for 9,000 gold, which is actually not bad. You know, you can get one of these. You could buy the special for 25 bucks if you could really complete the quest, the story. I'm more into doing the quests. Let me have a bundle. What is this? 4 days remaining. Huh. That's actually kind of cool. And then you get another dice. Yeah. Let's see here. You can sign up for daily gold for 200 gold a day for 30 days. Let's see here, and then let's look at my vault here. So your vault is your, you know, all your cards. I think it's gallery. Let's see. I don't know. Crap. I just really love this game. It's a really good feel-bad game. You could spend $10 and feel like you've done a lot. Let's see here. Where's the vault? Sometimes it bugs out, which pisses me off. It's patched regularly. It's actually made from people as Obsidian settings. There is cloud save support. Rules. So here's the rules and all that stuff. It's really hard to explain. Read though. Maybe it's in the gallery? Oh, there. No, I'm in the vault. Okay. So these are all the cards I've seen that can interact. So there's different card sets and all that stuff. All the different weapons from different decks. There's some pretty cool stuff here. I need to purchase that. Okay. So, you know, some of these have bonus things. So here's a 1d6 plus 6, and it also has like some bonuses. So if you encounter a Bane, wait, no. Okay, your combat check revealed this card to use your strength or melee skill 1d6 plus 1. You may additionally discard this. Okay, if the Bane, which is the monster or villain, is a giant type, additional 1d10 is applied, and then if you're proficiency, the difficulty check is increased by 4, which is kind of interesting. Armors, yeah, whatever. There we go. Some of these are pretty cool. Let's see. Here's a 1d12 for a melee check. Here's a shock glaive, which then adds a magical, because sometimes you will actually encounter some Bane that don't have a that cannot be killed with melee, with physical damage, so you have to have, like, you know, an ability or something called a magic check. So, there we go. Let's see. And then different allies and all that stuff. Different wands. Let's see here. So here's a staff, or just a minor healing. I have these. I have no idea what these are. So I think these are like super loots or something. I don't know. Different locations I have. But this is Pathfinder Adventures. This is really fun. I play this all the time once I go to the coffee shop or just sitting on the bus or anything. Really, really cool game. I think this is out on Android and probably iOS. It would be really cool if this was on PC or anything. But yeah, this is a really cool game. Anyways, they do plan on adding multiplayer at some point. So that might be pretty cool. There is a pass and play aspect to it. This is kind of cool. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, @Cobras97. I'll see you on the flip side. Bye.